Welcome back to my channel that I decided to call Craft Sensations. Craft Sensations. Because here I will be doing some crafts such as diamond paintings, coloring books, maybe some knitting, some scrapbooking, and it's gonna be ASMR style. So, ASMR is a sensation, right? It is a sensation, a tingling sensation. And that is why I decided to call the channel Craft Sensations. Craft Sensations. And so I'm gonna be continuing this awesome diamond painting that I started a few days ago, and I think I will be continuing this part. I will zoom in just a second, and I thought that today I would make my little ramble about some true crime stories, and I thought I would maybe tell you about the craziest crime stories that I happened to witness in my hometown. Well, I did not witness the crime scenes itself, but it happened in my hometown. So I'm gonna zoom in right now. So I just changed the angle a little bit, and I think that's better. Definitely better. So yeah, I will try to continue. I think I will do the letter D now, and I will start with my stories at the same time. Yeah, let's do this. Yes, so the letter D, I actually don't have that much of it, so shouldn't take too long. The letter D is right here. I will pour some diamonds. Like so. And we'll start right away, right? Like this. So. Right? Nice. So, I was telling you about crimes that happened in my hometown, right? It's actually a peaceful place. Nice. Peaceful. So there's not much reasons for crimes to happen here. We don't have any like organized crime type of situations, but we definitely have like domestic violence situations. And so the other day, actually it was Saturday, it's Monday now, and what I'm talking about happened just Saturday. A woman got shot in the suburbs of my city. She got shot in the head. She was a 45 years old woman, and she got shot by her boyfriend, who is actually 32 years old. I think I'm done with the liberty. Wait a minute, just a second. And the crazy part is that the crime happened in front of her children. She had 3 kids. Very unfortunately, they were present at the time of the crime. And so that's really, really terrible, right? That's terrible. That's definitely terrible. Yeah. So the woman got shot. The boyfriend was arrested. We don't know much about the situation. It was on the news. On the local news. I read that the kids were brought to the hospital for counseling, for a psychiatric help, but no psychiatrical help will be able to make up for this horrible situation, right? It's a horrible situation. Another story that happened in this town, it was last year, I think. It was a young father who lived in a 10-story building downtown, and when the mother went out to do some shopping, I think he was very jealous, and we read on the local news that he threatened her not to go out because he was very jealous. He didn't want her to go out and see other people. And what he did, there was an infant in the apartment, and he threw the infant out of the window. And so the little girl, who was 10 months old, she died. Yeah, she unfortunately passed away. And the guy jumped right after her. He jumped out of the window. Yeah, it happened last year, or maybe 2 years ago, but not very long ago. Also, there was this one time where I went to swim in the river with a friend of mine. It was summertime. It was June, 2 years ago actually, and we went to swim during the night time. We went there just after an evening with friends. We drank a little bit. We wanted just to kind of do something funny. And so we went there. We went in the river. It was gross. The river is quite gross at that place because you're not supposed to be swimming over there. But we were really stupid, I guess. So we had some fun. Didn't see much because it was nighttime. We just had this little swim and we went home. And the next day we saw on the news, local news again, we saw that they found a body floating right next to where we were the day before, because it's a small beach on the river, a place where you can swim sometimes, but they shut it down very often. I don't know why. Maybe there are some bacteria. I don't know, some pollution maybe. We were just stupid to swim there. But the thing is, I suppose that the body must have been there, like when we were there, like at the same time, right? Because they found it like the next day. It was like trapped in the plants that surrounded the water, you know. Yeah, that was gross. I think it was an old man. It was an elderly person, and so yeah, we don't really know what happened. Like, didn't get any follow-up on this situation. That's crazy. It's really crazy to think that it happened like right next to us. Oh, I don't mean that like the murder happened right next to us. Or maybe it wasn't even murder. Like maybe it's just an old person who went out. Maybe he got Alzheimer's disease, or I don't know, was kind of confused. Like old people are sometimes confused. And maybe he drowned, like fell in the water and drowned. I don't know. What can I tell you? What more can I tell you? Well, a lot of stories involve like jealousy, violence against women. But the other day, and that was actually a few years ago, but it was on the news too. There was a couple living in the projects not far from where I live, and the woman actually killed the man. She stabbed him. Yeah, it was in the projects, and like she stabbed him apparently in self-defense. And I don't know like what was the outcome of the trial. Didn't really do any following, no follow-up on the situation. But I remember that like they said it was a domestic violence type of situation. The woman used to suffer, like it had been reported numerous times that he was violent, and so apparently that day she stabbed him, and apparently it was indeed in self-defense, but I don't know how it ended up. Yeah, so it's really unfortunate that people like just can't leave peacefully, right? Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you one last thing before I end this video. And that one is crazy. That is crazy. It really works me up to this day. It happened maybe 3 or 4 years ago, right? Just give me a second. So here's the story, right? Well, the story is that I'm kind of involved a little bit in this one, so that's crazy. Just hear me out. One morning I went down to walk my dog, and I live in a high building, right? So I live in the building, and I have to go down to walk my dog at like 6 a.m. It was spring, so I walk him like behind my building. It's not downtown. My building is like a little bit on the outskirts of the city. And so I go with my dog and I smoke my cigarette. I try to wake up, was tired. I struggle to wake up in the morning, have to drink about 10 cups of coffee. Anyway, like what I saw bones, right? It was the bones from the spinal cord, okay? It was like, I think you call them vertebrae, right? So it was parts of the spinal cord and some other small bones, right? And so I was kind of not too worried, because I thought maybe like someone cooked like an animal, like a sheep or something, and just dumped the bones in the backyard for the animals, right? For the stray dogs. And so I was not very alarmed, but at the same time it was so gross. Like, I was like, come on, that's, I don't know. It was disgusting. it still had some, I don't know, not meat, but something attached to it, like. And I actually talked about it to my boyfriend at that time. Well, he's my ex-boyfriend now, but we still get along quite well. And so he actually used to work in the police. And I kind of reported this, and he asked around, and I will not be going in the specifics of the situation, but it turned out to be human bones. It was human bones. Can you imagine that? Just behind my building. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and so there was, like, I guess they looked out for, like, other remains. And I think it's crazy that someone would just dump the bones like this. Maybe the person thought that if someone found the remains, they would think that it's sheep bones. But, like, come on, they should have buried it somehow. I don't get it. I don't get it. It was just, like, right after the Ramadan, I remember. And so, you know, when Ramadan is over, people, they cook sheep. And so maybe the person wanted to disguise it, like, as sheep remains. And it was not sheep, you know. But to this day, nobody knows who committed this crime. And that's the crazy part, because that means that I actually maybe live next door to a killer, right? Maybe he or her is just next door. That's crazy. But of course, maybe someone just came here to dump the remains. But as far as I know, and like my ex-boyfriend, like, we talked about this, they did not make any arrest. Or, I mean, if they did an arrest, like, the person was cleared, you know, like, there was no trial, no serious suspect. Yeah. So, yeah, I know that this topic, this ASMR, is kind of different from the personal attention type of content, right? But I think it's very interesting. It's very interesting to talk about these things. So, yeah, just let me finish a little bit more. Finish the letter O. So, yeah, that makes me remember that I should really try to have some news about this crime. Because it was certainly a crime, right? If it's human remains, like, for sure, it's not a natural death, right? But I don't know, like, how the person died, who the person was, and like the chilling thing is that I will repeat myself again. The worst is that they have no idea about who the killer is to this day. I have not heard any like similar situation since, so that's good. And I hope to never hear about it, you know? I really hope so. Yeah. So, there are other situations in the city. It's crazy for such a small, nice city. It's maybe 100,000 inhabitants in this city. No mafia, no gangs, like, not that I know of. There are no, like, street gangs, no shootings. I told you, it's just like between the people, you know. People just don't seem to be able to get along, you know. And I think it's very unfortunate, given that we have like such a nice life here in Europe. Like, no war, at least not yet. We're not in Ukraine, but I think we should really like be grateful and be blessed that, like, just feel grateful that we don't have any war or any hunger type of situation, you know. I think it's really sad that people kind of get jealous and beat their children and beat their wife and like throw children out of the window and things like that. It's really crazy. Yeah, and I will tell one last story because I have not finished yet. I really want to do the letter J. I want to do the letter J before I finish. So just hear me out. It was late at night, a Saturday evening, sorry. So early on a Sunday, but Saturday night, you know. A few years ago too. And there was a couple. They were going home after a night out. they were going home, and like someone asked, like a cigarette. Someone asked the man a cigarette, and they were not satisfied with the man's answer, apparently, because he didn't want or could not give a cigarette to the person who asked. And there was an altercation. They argued, and the guy got stabbed. He got stabbed right next to the groin, in the inside of the leg, like next to the groin, and he bled out really quickly and died. Yeah. All because of a cigarette. If you think about it, that's insane. That's insane, man. Yeah, so pretty rough things happen even in such a small, like a nice town. You don't have any drug epidemic here. Nothing special going on. But still the people cannot live peacefully. Yeah. So I changed the angle a little bit one last time. And I'm gonna make the letter J now. And then I will be finished for today. Yeah. I will soon be finished. I hope you don't you are not triggered by my stories. It's all true stories, and it's nothing spectacular, not like on TV shows for certain, but at least it's true. And I hope you are not triggered by any of it. Maybe you prefer some personal attention type of content, but in that case, I think the title and the description of this video are explicit. So if you clicked here, I guess it's because you were interested or intrigued. And yeah, I'm not sure I could do any personal attention type of content. Yeah, I just want to do some crafts and some rambling about things, about stories that I know of, that happened to me, that I heard of, that I read about, that I know. True stories. I think the truth is far more fascinating than the made up stuff. You cannot beat the truth. The truth is always worse than any fiction. It really is. My God. I will do this little part, and that's it. I think I will have just enough diamonds for this. And then I will let you see how it looks. It looks great, believe me. It's a very hot day today, so my window is open. The sun is on the other side of the building for now, so I will soon close the window. And so I wanted to film this video before I have to close the curtains. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 diamonds left. Look at that. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll see you soon.